Hey, happy Wednesday, everyone. Want to welcome you to my weekly live stream and give everyone just a few minutes to join in. Looks like we're connected on Facebook and LinkedIn as well as YouTube. So hopefully you are joining in. Y'all, can you believe it is May 1st? I mean, where has 2024 gone? This is just flying by, and this is my favorite time of year. I love the spring. I just love the warmer weather. I love seeing everything turn green and flowers coming up, and I love all the color. Um, just love it. So, um, anyway, I want to tell you too that if you are joining us from Facebook, make sure, and I'll put this on the screen if I could see it. Okay. Um, Make sure if you have not done this before, and if this is your first time to join us, you go to streamyard.com/Facebook. That allows, and you'll be giving Facebook and StreamYard permission to speak to each other. Otherwise, if you leave me a comment, it's just going to say Facebook user, and I won't know. Also, let me just add to, I know a lot of you catch this on the replay instead of watching it live. So I'd love to hear your comments or love to read your comments. I want to also add to, be sure if you're catching the replay that if you have questions, that you tag me. That way I will see that you have left a comment, and I'll make sure to come back to that and answer your questions. You can also send me a direct message as well if you prefer to do that. And my most active platform is LinkedIn, but I do check my messages on Facebook and Instagram as well as YouTube. So, with that, let's just jump in. If I'm new to you and you are new to me, I'm Beverly Smith. I'm the founder of Career Success Strategies, and I'm the former owner of a staffing and recruiting firm. So I know firsthand what the hiring managers are looking for, and I use that knowledge that I have from the years of experience. And I'm now working with senior level, executive level professionals, helping them build their resumes so that they can land the career of their dreams. And I just got a thing. Hang on. I'm sorry to do this here. I just realized I've got a low battery notification. This is real live here, y'all. So, anyway, let's talk about last week. If you joined us, we talked about when you write a resume, there are different audiences that your resume's got to appeal to. And there's actually 3 different ones. We talked all about how to make one resume speak to those 3 different audiences. It was a really good episode. You can catch that on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to throw that up here for you. It's at Beverly Smith Resumes. They're on the bottom of the screen. All my replays are there. You'll need to go under the live tab to find them. And yes, I've got just a boatload of things that we've done, but this recent ones, and it's the different audiences that your resume needs to speak to. So that being said, let's move into this week's topic, and it's all about cover letters. And it seems like there's this great debate on whether you even need a cover letter, if they're still relevant. And spoiler alert, you're going to find out that I believe that they are. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why I think that. I'm also going to share with you components of a solid cover letter. I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of having one professionally written. And I'm also going to share my own cover letter story of how my cover letter landed me a 30% salary increase. So obviously, I'm a big fan. We've got a lot to cover, so I'm going to jump on in here. And here's why I think that they're so important. Some prospective employers will not even read your resume if you don't have a cover letter. So they're going to throw out that resume that you've either worked so hard on, or you've invested in someone like me to write that letter for you, of that resume for you. And I mean, who wants that to happen? Um, and yes, there are going to be some employers that they just don't care if you've got one or not. Um, but if it's me, I would much rather not take the risk of having my resume thrown out, or being ignored just because I did not send a cover letter over. So that's one of the reasons I think they're important. Another one is, I read this recently that 20% of job seekers use cover letters. And um, if that's it, this is a golden opportunity for you to stand out. Your professionally written letter is going to make you look even all the more savvy among other applicants. And um, this actually is going to apply across the board, whether it is no matter what level of a job seeker you are. And again, I'm going to share with you my story that happened more than 30 years ago. So I I honestly believe it is a wonderful way to make yourself stand out. And it's not really even about them reading it as much as it is this perception and the good impression that you can make when you have a cover letter. The another reason that I feel like a cover letter is so important is it crosses the bridge to the reviewer and says, it's just another way for you to basically hold your hand up and say, see how perfect I am for your job. And need to be customized, but it's a great place where you can name drop, where you can show that your skills match, and where you can iterate small issues that a resume just can't effectively address. And it's going to sell you that much more. And just let me just throw this out there. We did a cover letter for a client, and we had a quote in there from someone who was actually very well known. So we did name drop this particular person. And I feel like this is just a great opportunity where you might not do it in a resume, but it really fit nicely into a cover letter. There's another reason I think that they're important, and this is going to be a great way for you to either address gaps in your employment or career changes. And it's just going to enable you to provide additional explanations or assurances. And again, when I tell you about my own experience, it's because I was changing fields, and was able to bridge that gap in skills, or let's say gap in experience that I didn't have. And I'll get into more. I'm kind of giving you a little bit more like a sneak peek, but I'll get into that here more in just a minute. So as you can see, there's lots of reasons why I personally believe that having a cover letter is very important, and they are still very relevant today. So okay, sorry about that. It looks like we have some technical issues and I got frozen. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat for me as well. And again, if you're watching the replay, do use the hashtag replay. So let's move on in and talk to what are the components of a solid cover letter. Number one, I feel like they need to be tailored and specific to the job and to the company for which you're applying. So just like if you follow me, you know that I say that about the resume. Your resume needs to be specific, and generic resumes are a thing of the past. We don't do that. And you want to tailor it to the job description of that position that you're applying for. Another thing is you want to focus on what you can offer the employer and how you can contribute to their success. So this is another place besides your resume for you to highlight areas that you've stood out and showcase why you are such a good fit. Which kind of leads me into my next point. You want to avoid repeating information that's on your resume, but instead you want to expand on key points and provide maybe additional information or additional context about the position and your accomplishments, things that obviously you have very limited real estate in the resume. So using your cover letter is great there as well. Finally, I want to say too that it's important that your cover letter really be concise and to the point. We don't want it really to exceed one page if possible. Beware of using flowery or fluffy language, things that don't say anything. I read some good tips as I was doing my research and preparation for this live. One of my colleagues made the suggestion of just writing the letter, getting it down on paper, and then walking away for a while, coming back and start editing out the fluffy language, the things that don't say anything. Come back again and focus on those high impact words that really do say things, and just really edit it down until you make it really concise and it's not long and rambly. The one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to bore the reader before they even look at your resume. Uh, we want to intrigue them and make sure that they want to go ahead and say, hey, I'm real anxious to see what this person's really done because they've teased me here with some of these other things that they put in their cover letter. So I'm going to check real quick. I don't see any comments, but again, feel free to leave me one. So just, I feel like if following those key components, you can really create a compelling cover letter, again, that's going to grab the reader's attention and effectively highlight your qualifications. So let's talk about the benefits of having a cover letter that is professionally written, which I will just say, this is a service that we offer to our clients as well here at Career Success Strategies. So a professionally written cover letter can really maximize your impact. We talked about that a little bit earlier about the statistic where only 20% are actually even sending out cover letters. So it's really going to help you make a strong first impression, especially if no one else is doing it. Going to increase the likelihood that they're going to want to take a closer look at your resume, especially if you've had someone come along and help you craft that craft that cover letter on your behalf so that they can really talk about your strengths, your achievements, and really showcase how you stand out in a competitive job market. Now, when we write a cover letter for our clients, our cover letters are all branded. So they match your resume, which I love. So it's just going to look like they are cohesive marketing documents, which they are. And it's not going to look like you've just kind of had an afterthought of, oh my God, I've got to write a cover letter. And you just crank something out in Microsoft Word and put it together. But it's like going to have the same heading, the same taglines. It's going to have all your information. It's going to use the same fonts. If we've used any colors, those colors are going to match. It's going to be a very cohesive and branded document. And what I like about that is, again, it doesn't look like an afterthought, but instead it conveys your attention to detail and your thoroughness. I feel like when you present someone, especially the higher up you are in your career, mid, senior, executive, professionals, you want to look thorough and look like you have put some forethought into it, and also that you're not just flying by the seat of the pants. It's just kind of also to a respect for the position, so to speak. All right. Another benefit of having a professionally written resume is that it saves time and effort. Having a well-crafted cover letter is really going to help you, because you're not going to have writer's block when you sit down to write one. So you've got your resume together, you've tailored it. In our case, we work with our clients. We show them how to make slight tweaks to tailor it, but we've pretty much already written it for the positions that they're applying for. Same thing with their cover letter. And so you are not sitting there going, oh my gosh, what do I have to say? How am I going to make this, and I need to get it out, and I don't have much time. You're not going to have writer's block. It's going to be there. It's going to be ready to go for you. And you're going to be able to put it, immediately have it sent over. So when we help our clients, we create the basic foundation of their letter, and we suggest, here's the things that we think you should emphasize. And then we show them exactly where and how to customize their letter. They are created in a way that makes them very easy for our clients to come in and customize them and make it unique to each employer. A third benefit of having one that's professionally written is it helps to increase your confidence. Knowing that your cover letter has been professionally written can really just boost your confidence during the application process. You feel assured that your application materials are polished and they effectively convey your qualifications as well as your enthusiasm for the position. In fact, one of the things that I have seen with our clients is, in going through the whole process of preparing them for their resume, we do a very detailed interview, and it really helps them understand their own special, unique value proposition that they bring to the table. I find that it really helps when someone objectively looks at your work experience and the things that you've accomplished, and even the things that maybe you take for granted that you do on a day-to-day basis. And we're able to bring that together and really show how amazing you truly are. I feel like one of the biggest hurdles that people face when they embark on a job search is how to communicate that they truly are qualified for the job. And just think about it. Like, how many times have you looked with what they've done, but I know I can do this job. So that's where a professional writer can come in and make a big difference for you. And when you see yourself on paper, you see what we've created in both your cover letter and your resume, we're able to help you see it through a different lens. And it's just a absolute huge boost in confidence. It's actually one of my favorite parts is when my clients get their finished documents and they look over and they're like, oh my goodness, is this really me? This is better than I expected. And yes, this is what I do. And this is going to really help me communicate it better in the interview as well. So it's just like I said, it's a huge confidence boost as well. All right, let's just double check over here. We're doing pretty good on time. I don't see any questions, but y'all, if you've got anything, or if you want to, I know some of you that are watching are probably job seeking confidentially. So I completely understand if you don't feel comfortable leaving me, just reach out to me. So finally, I want to share with you guys how my cover letter that I wrote landed me a 30% increase in salary. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons I'm such a firm believer in using cover letters. This is what happened to me. So years ago, before I was ever in the employment industry, before I ever owned my own recruiting and staffing firm, I was a trailing spouse. And my work history was a bit splotchy because we were moving in conjunction with my husband's career. And we landed at this one location. And I landed a really nice job in an accounts payable department. Loved it. With a great company, great benefits. Enjoyed working there, and they had a position come open internally that I wanted to apply for in their compliance department. But I had zero experience writing and requesting drilling permits from the Bureau of Land Management. But I had a basic understanding because in my accounts payable department, we're responsible for paying all their bills. And I asked a lot of good questions, and we dealt with like 9 different entities into this one company. And a lot of times things had to be split between some or all of them. And it was just really an arduous process. Again, like I asked a lot of questions. I really understood a lot about the company because of the nature of the work that I did. And we were busy. We processed like 3,000 invoices a month, and there was just 2 of us that were full-time doing it, and we had a part-time helper. So on top of that, our company was notorious for not paying within 30 days, and we fielded a lot of calls from vendors, and we worked really closely with management to determine who got paid next. So back then, resumes, and this has been, more than 30 years ago. So resumes back in the early 90s were more general summations of dates and duties. So like I said, as a trailing spouse, my work history was kind of splotchy, a little colorful, a little all over the place. I mean, colorful in a good way. I did a lot of cool and fun stuff, I will say. So what I did was I took that job description and I really spent some time analyzing how my skills worked, fit with what they were asking for. And I explained how the work that I was doing in the AP department would be a huge benefit to the compliance department. And like I said, I did that by reviewing that job posting and just really just thinking through, just kind of practical common sense going. And so this is kind of one of those examples where I was going from one field over to another, even though I was staying in the same industry and with the same company. And so kind of the funny thing about it is I was one of three candidates that was selected for the position. And when I was brought in to interview for the position, and when I was brought in to interview, the hiring manager basically told me I was the only one that took the time to write a cover letter. And in my cover letter, I was the only one that had been able to communicate how I was qualified for that position. And he was really intrigued. Now, what I'm going to share with you is of the three of us, I was the youngest. I probably had the least experience. I definitely had the least tenure with the company. And so that cover letter opened the door for me. And then the fact that I was good at interviewing and I was confident and I knew what I was capable of doing. I had this past experience of going to all these different types of work and quickly catching on. And I knew that I could catch on. I knew this was going to probably be the most challenging position that I embarked on. I really, really wanted the job, and I got the job. And as I mentioned, I had a 30% increase in my salary as well, which was quite a lot back then. And especially for as young as I was just from then, I was a firm believer of a cover letter. And I think it's so interesting. It's just something that I guess I had a little bit of a gift for. And I knew, um, you know, to get in there and explain why I was a good fit. And I use that cover letter to do that. So that is my story. We've covered a lot of information. And again, I don't see any comments, but if you do have something that you want to ask me, feel free to reach out. I want to remind you guys that I do work with mid to senior level professionals, executive level professionals, and um, if you would like to book a complimentary consultation with me, if you want to talk more about your resume and want to talk about how we can help you with that, as well as your cover letter, with your job search strategies, it is never too early in the process to start planning. I actually have been working with some people that were laid off, and they while they have gone on to get a new job, they said, I am never going to be caught in that position again. And they're doing their resumes now. So we can definitely do that. In that way, you have one that's ready to go that may need just a little minor modifications, should you find yourself in that position again. So I have put up a way to reach me in up there on the screen. And let me just see if I can throw that in the comments. Yes, it's going to go in the comments as well. So you can just link there and feel free to book with me a complimentary consultation. What you can expect on our consultations is I'm going to probably spend 35 or 40 minutes. We're going to talk about things like the cover letter. We're going to talk about the audiences that your resume needs to reach. We're going to talk about how it needs to be tailored. And we're going to talk about things that are going to make you be able to take this wonderful, beautifully written resume that my team and I are going to put together for you, and how you're going to be able to uncover hidden jobs with it, and steps that you need to do to make sure that you interview well, that you have a successful job search, that you negotiate on salary. We'll just cover all that stuff with you. And that way you can make a really good informed decision as to whether my team and I are the right fit to work with you. So I hope this has been helpful. And next week, I am so excited. I'm bringing back my friend Ari Schaefer. She's been with us before, and um, she has a great topic we're going to discuss. And I know I hear about this a lot from my clients. It is the topic of ageism. We're going to talk about what is ageism. We're Okay, I just realized too that what banner was up on the screen. That's hilarious. Okay, we're going to talk about also why you should not be afraid of it and just give you tools. It's going to be so good. The time Ari was here before, she just gave so much good information and just was so generous with her time. She always is. She is someone I've collaborated with before in other areas, and I'm just really excited to bring her back on. And I think you will really, really enjoy. So make sure you're here next week, next Wednesday, and I will see you on our next live stream.